Hello, mic testing. Pranshu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
When are you going live?
Just we are going in like next 10 seconds. Yeah.
లింక్ ఉంది సార్ లింక్ ఓపెన్ చేశాను.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, good evening, sir. We are from Bharat Biotech, sir. My voice is clear, sir?
Yes.
You're audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Slide sharing, sir. Slide sharing.
Yes, your slides are visible, sir.
Yeah, slides are visible, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sanjeev, I joined.
Yeah, hi. Yeah,
So
Anshu,
a
we
very
can start.
warm welcome to the celebration of 38th CSIR-IMTECH Foundation Day. On this occasion, we are honored and privileged to have with us Dr. Krishna Ella, Chairman and Managing Director, Bharat Biotech, as the chief guest, and Dr. Shekhar Mande, Secretary DSIR and Director General CSIR as the guest of honor. Now I invite Dr. Sanjeev Khosla, Director CSIR-IMTECH, for his welcome address, as well as for sharing with us the key highlights of the last year. Over to you, Dr. Khosla.
Thank you, Anshu. Welcome to everyone. Good afternoon and greetings on IMTECH's 38th Foundation Day. Let me share my slides. Can you people see the slides?
Yes, we can see.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Dr. Krishna Ella, Dr. Shekhar Mande, my eminent colleagues from CSIR and beyond, my eminent colleagues from IMTECH, friends from Chandigarh and the world. It's indeed a privilege and an honor to be presenting the annual report for IMTECH on its 38th Foundation Day. Founded in 1984 under the able leadership of Dr. V.C. Vora, today IMTECH requires no introduction. We have been working in IMTECH on the forefront of all major areas of modern microbiology. We are based on three major pillars in modern microbiology. One is all the major relevant areas of basic research that we work on. That's the first major pillar and the foremost. We are also proud to be actually a service provider in various areas of microbial biotechnology. And over the years, last few years, we've also been involved in providing solutions to microbial problems that are faced by industry and other organizations. And this is possible because we have inherited a vast infrastructure for performing research, and this is present in a very beautiful campus spread across 47 acres in the heart of Chandigarh, and we are supported by a pool of very talented people, which include around 50 scientists. We have almost more than 250 researchers, which includes PhD students, and we are complemented by a similar number of administrative and technical staff. For any institution, there is an important part in India, especially played by our talented PhD students, and we are fortunate we have 164 talented minds with us right now, of which 24 have joined in the last 1 year. 35 of our students have graduated and gone to greener pastures. Over the years, we have been publishing well. If you can see this graph, almost more than 100 papers are published every year and published in very well-regarded, peer-reviewed Indian as well as international journals. This is just a peek into what we have been publishing in the areas of basic microbiology. Similarly, for applied microbiology, we have also been doing quite well. This is just a snapshot of some of the papers that we've been publishing in applied microbiology. Even in a difficult year like 2021, we've been actually able to file almost 10 patents, and a similar number of patents actually have been granted. These were the ones that were filed in previous years. We've also been able to attract good number of extramural funds from various granting agencies, and these are non-CSIR granting agencies that we are talking of. Similar numbers are there from CSIR as well. That brings me to the two service divisions that we have in Mtech. One is the Microbial Repository, or MTCC as we call it. The microbial type culture collection actually houses more than 14,000 microbial species, and these species are supplied to various researchers, academic as well as in the industry. Over the years, we've been part of the International Depository Authority. Last few years, we've also been working very closely with the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission to actually set standards for some of the strains or microbial species that are used or utilized by the industry for their work. And this year, we've actually extended our MOU with IPC to actually include more data on some of the standards, and this data includes genomics and metabolomics, and I'm hoping that we will be able to tell you more about it in the next in future Foundation Day lectures. MTCC has been involved in certain providing some solutions as well, and one of the solutions has been to do with bioremediation. And last few years, we've been successfully working with ISRO to help them in bioremediation or of rocket spent fuel, which includes perchlorate, which is not very good for the human health. And Vikram Sarabhai Space Center actually got in touch with us, and we in the first phase have already actually developed two microbial consortia which can degrade ammonium perchlorate from 7,000 ppms in 24 hours. And this, they tell us, is much better than what was promised to them by international commercial entities. In the phase 2, we already actually have gone up to 12,000 ppm in 24 hours, and with scale up and hopefully use of recombinant and synthetic biology approaches, we can provide much better solutions to ISRO for this. The second division that we have for services is our biochemical engineering and fermentation unit. And the aim for this unit has always been to provide scale-up facilities to researchers from industry and academia. And they have been successfully working on several molecules, including streptokinase. And even this year, several projects have been ongoing. Some are industry projects, some are in collaboration with other research institutes. I'll just give you a flavor of what they've been doing. First one is industry project, and here the main aim was to provide bioprocess development and fermentation process for alpha amylase, indigenization of this enzyme production. And I'm quite happy to say not only have we developed a robust production process for alpha amylase, but also have been able to help them, or this would actually help them in cutting their production cost by a significant means. And over the first phase 2, we hope that use of again recombinant means we will be able to scale this up further. The second was the need of the time. CSIR was looking for molecules which could actually be used as vaccine candidates. And one such candidate came from Mtech. This was based on pre-fusion stabilized spike protein based subunit vaccine. And I'm happy to tell you that not only have been able to express them in the right kind of mammalian cell lines, but also been able to show that they are this particular vaccine candidate is very good, has very good activity. We've already tested in mice, hamster studies are going on, and as we have been doing in the last few years, Industry Connect has been from the beginning, and we've already working with some of the industry partners with this proof of concept. And hopefully in the next year or so, we would be actually going for regulatory approvals. Continuing with our work on COVID, as most of you would know, we in Mtech were the first few research institutions who provided their infrastructure for testing of COVID-19 virus using RT-PCR. We not only tested, but we also were able to actually provide training to personnel, as well as actually help build other institutions, build their BSL-2 capabilities. Another area that we actually were working, and this is just some of the projects that we were working on COVID, but another area where we were working was in antiviral screening against SARS-CoV-2. This was possible because we were able to actually culture the SARS-CoV-2 virus very early on during the pandemic, and that cultures were helpful for us to actually look at compounds, products, or devices that had antiviral properties. And we've already tested more than 250 such compounds from various institutions. We've also been able to test products and devices that were brought to us from the industry. We did more than 25 industry projects, and many of these products or devices who were successfully shown to or had been shown to successfully have antiviral properties are already in the market, and this is just a taste of what is there in the market based on our results. Another project which actually has been very satisfying for us in Mtech is based on our efforts initially to actually look at the presence of SARS-CoV-2 in the air or in the aerosol. We, along with CCMB, were the first ones in India to actually show that we could actually see the virus in the air, and we tested it at several hospitals and quarantine centers. Based on these results, CSIR actually put up a team to actually see if we could mitigate this problem by inactivation of this virus that is present in the air. However, the problems were manifold, and one of the major problems was that the way we were collecting these samples, either they were very low in virus numbers, or the way we were collecting it, they were not suitable for looking at whether the virus that we have collected was active or infectious or not. And that is an important thing to test, because otherwise all the studies don't mean much when we actually collect whether it's the active virus or the inactive virus. And this is where we got help from our sister lab in Chandigarh, CSIO, Central Scientific Instrumentation Organization. They actually made us air sampling chamber, which could be taken into a BSL-3 lab, put in a biosafety cabinet, and here we could actually nebulize or aerosolize the virus, and then either in presence or absence of UV, we could check whether the virus is active or not. And if UV had an effect, then we could use UVC as one of the ways of inactivating the virus. And this was successful, and this is just a flow chart of what we've been doing. So you take the virus out of these chambers and infect the appropriate cell lines, and as the results here show that we could actually see that very less amount of UV in very small doses for very less amount of time were needed for inactivation of the virus that is present in the air. And this information was very important because based on this, CSIR, CSIO, and another institution, CBRI, Central Building Research Institute in Roorkee, actually made UVC disinfection systems for 3 different types of things. One is for buildings which had HVAC, like seminar halls and auditoriums and large buildings. It has already been installed in several CSIR labs, including the headquarters. And the most proud moment came when Lok Sabha Speaker actually asked CSIR to install this in the Lok Sabha as well as in the Central Hall of the Parliament. And indeed, it was a very proud moment for all of us in CSIR. CSIO and CBRI have also been actually trying to use this, retrofit it in transport vehicles. We have been doing trials along with Indian Railways for almost more than a month. It's also been used in AC buses. The third way that the CSIO and CBRI actually came up was individual standalone units which could be put in smaller rooms which don't have HVAC. But the most satisfying of all the things in this particular project was a biological institute like Mtech actually collaborated with engineering institutions like CSIO and CBRI. And I think so this is the way forward for us. I think so interdisciplinary, not just within natural sciences, but with engineering and other organization is what science is going to be in the years to come. And I think so we can only hope now that this can be stepping stone for all of us to actually take these kind of collaborations forward. Before I end, during this 2 difficult years, we've been very, our training teams have actually been very active. Not only we have provided training to several research students in the labs in Mtech, but also we've gone out and conducted online workshops and webinars to train lots and lots of research students. We've also been connecting very well with school students, especially through our Jigyasa activities. And I think so that's very important for us because we know that many of these students, once they inculcate the various important nuances of science, would be the scientific leaders of the future. And I think so that's very important for us. And with that particular hope, I end my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. Anshu, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Khosla, for giving us a very crisp but a very intense presentation of how CSIR and CSIR-IMTECH particularly has contributed at the time of the pandemic. So thank you for that. So now I'm really honored and really excited to welcome our chief guest today, Dr. Krishna Ella. As we all know, he's the chairman and managing director of Bharat Biotech International Limited, which he incorporated in 1996. He's a gold medalist at university, and Dr. Ella worked as a research faculty at the Medical University of South Carolina, Charleston. After earning his PhD from the University of Wisconsin Medicine. A research scientist in molecular biology, Dr. Ella strongly believes that innovative technology in vaccine development is essential to solve public healthcare problems caused by infectious diseases, and we have seen that by example. Under Dr. Ella's leadership, Bharat Biotech has grown to become a global leader in innovative vaccines. A serial entrepreneur with a passion for innovative ideas, Dr. Ella has also ventured into veterinary vaccines, food processing, and developing biotechnology infrastructure in the country. He has been conferred several awards. Say, for example,
Thanks, Anshu. So don't worry. I think.
All right. So, okay. So, with this, so he has several awards and he has influenced.
This is a problem when a secretary sends the CV.
So, with that very brief introduction,
Thank you.
Yeah, you may please take over, Dr. Ella, and deliver the CSIR Foundation Day Scientific Lecture, Innovation and Leadership in Pandemic. Thank you so much.
It would be a privilege to have you in person.
No, thank you.
Privilege to have you online.
We are privileged because I've seen you in '97 right in Hyderabad, and Khosla just joined in the faculty in Hyderabad. So I've seen all this view. Only one thing is you have not changed much, Shekhar Mandey. You have not changed at all. You're exactly like that. 25 years. This is amazing. I think I'm proud that at least Hyderabad has exported all these people from here. Thank you. It's really indeed an honor for me to be here because I visited 96, end of 96, 97. Dr. Ora took me to Mtech to see the pilot plant facility. Dr. Ora. That time Basu was if I remember, Basu was the director that time. So Ora 97. This is the first institute that I visited when I came to India. Mtech was the first one. It's really a privilege that I'm honored to be here. And I think I want to thank our secretary, DSIR and DG. We are proud you are there. And Khosla, we are happy that you are there in Mtech. And I think Hyderabad misses you, but certainly Chandigarh is benefited. Thank you. And I think, I'm going to touch very general. I don't want a complicated matter. I don't want to talk too much science, because science we have done and published in paper, peer-reviewed journal, that will speak for all those things. But I want to touch how pandemic is an important game and how the clinical trial is important. Look at some of the vaccine which I'm going to touch one slide each. Rotavirus, which are epidemic, both rich and poor people get. One child gets in hospital, the entire hospital get, get infected. So it's an epidemic, like the different viruses I'm going to touch upon. I think you see the amazing problem. Everybody wants to come to India. It's not that they love India. We are the highest number of population, and the market is here. Market is only in China and India, and India is in the bottom right now. The future is going to grow, and whatever the Honorable Prime Minister says, 5 trillion out of 80 trillions of the global economy is nothing impossible. So the market is there in the country. So it's the advantage of this is the human resource is going to be an important factor for us. And I think, I touch upon general things, and I want this to, not for the scientists there, but I want the scientists, their children to be educated now. That is what my aim is, to talk simple things, and which is critical, but don't think that I'm criticizing something, but I'm passionate about India. That's why I coined company name also Bharat Biotech. So I am more concerned about the country. So it's not that I'm talking negative about this. So we need innovation. We want double-digit GDP growth. And I think innovation brings respect from the global community. That's very critical for us. And I think, manufacturing and innovation is a key for for higher growth. I think the world is right now, oil and no oil is where the country divided right now. And, country oil and no oil is the one country is divided. Right now, the future is going to divide knowledge or no knowledge. And it's a very critical, and that is what is going to drive the country's economy. But we think, as India, we are a great country. But we don't understand where we stand in the global. In terms of innovation, we are 46th in India. Unfortunately, 46th in the world. Even small countries like Switzerland, Sweden, US, they're dominating even Israel, Singapore is dominating on certain policy issues which are conducive for pulling the IPR into that country. And particularly Switzerland, it pulls all the manufacturers to come there and position the IPR right there so that they get tax break. So that is a different reason. But certainly we are in the 46th in the world. And who creates innovation? Many people think India country innovates, or a company like Bharat Biotech creates innovation. No, it's individual who creates innovation. and human is a critical for us. That human is a very important. I always look at it, why Chinese cannot speak English, but they do extremely well in science and technology. The reason is, the only one factor is the skill set of Chinese is amazing. I've seen in Peking University, they Maniator's book, they follow like a Bible, and they do amazing skill set. Even master student works till 10 o'clock, 11 p.m. in the Peking University. And their skill set is what makes them confident and they become a best knowledgeable people. And that is where we lack little bit. But we do extremely well when you go to US because the lab is working on skills, on various methods. So we go and plug in there and start working on that. That's how we do extremely. I think we need to focus skill set. We have good degree, but skill is going to be a critical. Imagination, I'll touch upon a little bit. Innovation fast. India is the greatest country of the innovation. Every innovation happened to India because of the innovation happening in this country. Look at zero was invented in India. Lord Ganesha, I'm not talking about religious connotation, but I'm talking very simple language. Head is an organ. Right now, kidney, heart, and liver is transplantation is done. You look at it, the head of elephant is put on the human. So that means it's imagination, power. If it is true, I'm not questioning that. But true or wrong, I'm not questioning. But look at that imagination of that. And Chinese have done already one human head is put into transplant. The person was survived for 6 hours. Chinese. Even Koreans have done mice head on a guinea pig. They've also done trial. So things are happening, transplanting. Golconda, sound system down 3 kilometers down. There's no sound engineer, nothing. 3 kilometers down, somebody can talk and they can listen 3 kilometers down, up in the hill. So that means the imagination power of the Indians are phenomenal. And, like a steel invented, cataract surgery, now diamond cutters, diamond. Surat is the best nanotechnologist. If CSIR can pick up some of the Surat skill set people, you give a degree on nanotechnology degree, they have become the best nanotechnologists. Because the nanotechnology, particularly the diamond, is a precision cut is a nanometer. They are true nanotechnologists. They have a skill set, but the only thing they don't have degree or knowledge. That's where the differences are. And coming to present, unfortunately what we have happened is, we have lost the education system, we have coaching class, exam driven, market driven, and US visa driven, and also the parents driven status symbol, status pushing them, my son has to be medical, my son has to be engineer, my son has to be in IIT. Like that, the pressure is putting the students, even if they're not interested in engineering, we are pushing them to go into that. That pressure is changing the field interest. I want to give a very critical example. In 1962, Indo-Canadian bilateral program and agriculture program, they took the mustard seed from India. They never grown mustard seeds in Canada. And they grown mustard seed and for the export purpose. And they made a classical breeding. They reduced the smell of that, pungent smell of that mustard oil. And they call Canadian oil canola. 50% of Canadian export, right now, agriculture export, one canola oil. And they don't want to call mustard oil. If they call mustard oil, you compete with India. So they call canola. It's nothing but mustard oil. Coming to another one, you look at sesame oil. In Canada, it's called Vollanna. Telugu, it's called Manchanura. In Tamil, Nallanna. And Malayalam also Nallanna. That means in all these languages, South Indian language, they call good oil. But we don't know yet science why it's called good oil. In all South Indian pickles are made with sesame oil, all North Indian pickle made with a mustard oil. But we think it's an oil. But that oil, in relation with the human being, what is it happening between the two relationships? We don't have nice science yet on that. So look at orange juice. We are drinking orange juice because Americans are drinking, Europeans are drinking, or I was in US, I was used to drink every day 1 gallon of orange juice. So I'm also drinking orange juice even now after coming back. So the orange juice that comes from India comes from the Canadian and Brazil concentrate. Whatever Nagpur orange is grown, it is grown as a fruit crop, not as a juice. Musumbi. You look at Punjab, you're right there in Chandigarh. Punjab kino fruit. Have you seen a kino fruit in a Tetra Pak? We have not seen Tetra Pak. So that means we have not looked at the innovation within our country, what is there in front of us. The kino fruit is a wonderful Tetra Pak which can help the Punjab farmers. Musumbi, if we made a Tetra Pak, it benefits the South Indian farmers. So a simple angle, well, that is where we need some strategy. Coconut, everybody said coconut oil is not good. Harvard said it's a saturated fat, you will die with a heart attack and all that. Now you as people, every day drinking 1 tablespoon of virgin coconut oil for controlling Alzheimer's and Parkinson. And today, entire cosmetics to chips, everything is coconut now. Soap to even Vaseline, moisturizer, everything is coconut based. So everything is coconut now. But we were there. Look at simple. Americans made ketchup as a global product. Ketchup, simple ketchup. And we are now eating samosa with the ketchup. My grandson wants to eat idli with the ketchup. Whereas we have chutney. That is how tradition in Punjab, everybody used to eat with chutney. We have not made a chutney in a bottle like this. We missed simple thing. My training is always I look at science in a simple thinking and to think bigger angle afterwards. But future, the greatness of India is we are love education. We don't mind selling our house to give our children's education. That culturally we imbibe that education seeker. We are an education seeker. We want knowledge. And that is where the family culture is going to keep this country and going to grow big level. And that's the future of the country. How to kill innovation? Through mobile phone, one laptop. Everybody will be busy with the mobile phone and this thing. He will not even watch what is there in the surrounding, that he can observe. Many innovation happens based on surrounding or watching something. Cleanly, watching every issue that you watch, you get an idea out of it. That is missing right now, unfortunately. I'm going to talk about Indian pharma. When I came in 96, it was a morally generic country, biosimilar country, not even one single molecule, including pharma company. They have never developed a single new molecule yet, unfortunately. That is where we start. We have done extremely well as a generic product, generic country. In that process, we exported heavily to all of the world, but we have not created a new molecule. The process of the generic business killed the innovation, other side of it. It killed innovation. And I think, you look at vaccine business, US is dominated by 2 companies, Merck and Pfizer. Now the Moderna has come, that's different. Europe, only GSK and Sanofi. So that means the vaccine company is controlled by few companies in the world. Very, very few companies. And that is various reasons I don't want to touch upon. But many countries, 95% of the countries doesn't have manufacturing at all in vaccine. Africa, absolutely zero in vaccine. Latin America, absolutely zero. Again, like that, so many countries. But I think, the sustainability of vaccine companies are very complicated. It is also nationalism. Critical trials are demanding in every country now. If I want to sell Covaxin in Zambia, the Zambia is also asking a small clinical trial. And it's a dominant in childhood vaccine. Unless you have 15 vaccines, you can't dominate in the place. And each product takes 10 to 20 years. And I'll give you some example. And travel and tourism also requires a vaccine. Yellow fever. You want to go to Africa, you need to take yellow fever vaccine. So that is going to be even COVID vaccine also going to be demanded like that. And I was a startup. I looked at as a company, what do I do? I don't want to compete multinational, Pfizer and all that. How do I keep it? Let's concentrate emerging market, which is 6 million population. And I don't want to intellectual property violate anything, but I want to work on infection disease. That's a simple game. And it's a barren land. I think Shekhar knows when we came Genome Valley, there was no Genome Valley in this place. I was the first one. It's called Snake Valley. A lot of cobra and green snakes used to be there, a custard apple. There was no road, nothing. And that's how we came to this land. We located, and thanks to Dr. Abdul Kalam, launched our hepatitis B vaccine in dedication to Dr. G. Padmanabhan. See, a scientist launched to scientist dedication. And I am a believer that scientists has to be recognized in this country. It's a very important, this time has come, whether industry or academic, doesn't matter, all of us should work together to give respect to the scientists. And that's very important. That's why every vaccine, I always look at scientific angle. So I was a startup. We created the largest cluster in India now. The Genome Valley started existing. I was advisor to Chandrababu Naidu in 2002, 2003, and we created the knowledge corridor. That time, Sheila Bede was industry secretary. She made all the policies to work out, and we made the today largest cluster in the country is the Genome Valley in the country. And I think India only makes a generic vaccine. What the Indian government wants it, vaccination, or UNICEF wants it, they make only those vaccines. That is the problem is we lost innovation. Again, market driven. We driven by UNICEF or Indian government national immunization program. That's the sad part of it. But I said I had to change the game in the country. So we developed a new vaccine. So Rotavac, thanks to Dr. Bond, who is not there with us. I am really touched by him even today. Dr. Bond was the one who isolated a strain from All India Institute of Medical Science way back 85, 86. He isolated a strain from AIMS. And it took 17 years for us a clinical trial. It exactly compares these vaccine now, nothing less than Merck vaccine or GSK vaccine in terms of product portfolio, in terms of clinical trial, or in terms of clinical trial, the publication. And also this is the first efficacy trial done in the developing world. Not even China has done efficacy trial. That means a pregnant mother, 6-month pregnant mother, has to be given a consent to give their baby for a clinical trial. Just imagine your wife or your daughter is pregnant. Will they give a baby for their trial, clinical trial? It's very tough to do a clinical trial in this country. It's not immunogenicity, it's a community-based trial, not hospitalization trial. And then Bill Gates Foundation gave a funding. They said you should not bribe the mother by giving a financial incentive. So what we did is we gave 3 years of healthcare benefit to mother and a child. And we given a mother, mother was given a mobile phone, and she pressed the button. Exactly in 15 minutes, an ambulatory will be there to her house. Both mother and child will be lifted to either Pune KM hospital or in the CMC Vellore or AIMS in Delhi. We have done 3 different places. So that's how we did the trial. This is a learning curve for the country. Because this is where this knowledge base, what has helped us Covaxin. Why I am telling this one, it is not that something we develop a Covaxin by just default. Not like that. It has got a lot of knowledge base in that. And I think 17 years, it's the first developing world clinical trial. And you see Dr. Bond, and I think really we are touched by him, and we dedicate to him this strain was isolated by him. And you have 65 scientists all over the world was involved in the program, and that is where we got knowledge base in that. And we have 30 years of experience, not we have 30 years, but isolated from All India Institute of Medical Science, 15 clinical trials, 250,000 infants, newborn babies have done a clinical trial, Zambia, Vietnam, Palestinian, various countries, and more than 20 patents, 20 publications, and 6 countries who have done a clinical trial. And my grandson was the first one to take the vaccine. And you see the Dr. Bond right here again. Vijay Raghavan was the DBT secretary at that time. And we've done a Palestinian, when they want the Rotarix from GSK vaccine, they want to shift to Indian vaccine. They said we want to do clinical trial, see whether it goes down the disease burden. They've done a clinical trial again in Palestinian, shown that by changing Rotarix to Rotavac, it still continued the same decline of the rota death, diarrheal death. So that's published in PLOS journal. But we are now going into various countries and expanding the market. And now I had a dream to launch, because rotavirus, we are third company in the world. After Merck and GSK, Bharat Biotech was the third company in the world to launch, but nothing great. We are third company. But I had to dream that to launch a new molecule, one new molecule from India. So look at the typhoid map. You look at the black color, that is where the typhoid is. The most of the Western countries doesn't have a typhoid problem because their water is good, food are very controlled, so there is no problem. You look at all the tropical countries where the highest number of typhoid. And the situation typhoid is mostly developing world, multi-drug resistant, because everybody who has fever, doctor is given abusing the drugs. In 3 antibiotics they are given. It has become very resistant. In Karachi, in Pakistan, more than 800 children died because not responding to antibiotic drugs in Karachi. And the existing vaccine cannot be given to less than 2 years. But the vaccine is required less than 2 years. And we made a typhoid conjugate vaccine. And then we went to Gates Foundation. We want to make it a global vaccine. They said, you have done a clinical trial in India. How can we believe it, the clinical trial in India? The reason is because you are using so much of antibiotic abuse in that country, you can't make out a placebo or vaccinated person. Then we have to take a challenge that they said, if you want to do human challenge studies. The Gates Foundation gave a grant to $20 million to Oxford. We did the 126 people, medical students and nurses in Oxford, who are naive population. They have not been infected with the typhoid at all in their life. So those people have been recruited and they've been given a challenge with both placebo and also the oral typhoid drinking, that one. And we got 87% efficacy, and the New York Times covered a small company from Hyderabad that has done some amazing studies in the world. And it's Gavi approved, WHO approved, and then the next question is, okay, you have shown efficacy, but will it work in a community places? And that's why I'm explaining this one. I want people to understand science is not doing the lab alone is important. The lab, to take it to the field, to a level, it takes a lot of journey in the process. And that is what I'm trying to explain, nothing else, not to drag something on this matter. And to look at this $36 million grant for the Gates Foundation, we have to do from various countries, including we did in with CDC Atlanta, we've done in India, now Mumbai, children, all school-going children vaccinated. Various countries, we've done 8 countries, we've done the trial and published a lot of papers coming out, and it is shown that it is highly effective vaccine. And Nature Medicine covered that this is one of the treatment that made headline globally in 2018. A new molecule that made headline was typhoid conjugate vaccine. And Tabu Mbeki, when he came to India, he said, we have a problem in Africa, very pandemic, called non-typhoidal salmonella. Can you solve this problem for us? He requested us. I said, I took up a mission board that we should do something for Africa. And we partnered with the University of Maryland, and they worked with the NTS project, and we Wellcome Trust gave the money, and we got a US IND approved. This is the first Indian company to get IND approved in US for a new molecule. We got approved, and we did a clinical trial phase 1 in Baltimore. We completed that. Now Wellcome Trust and Gates Foundation both are very happy with the data. Now they're going to fund the phase 2 or 3 in African clinical trial. I think an old pathogen is going to come back, and antibiotic resistance is coming. And also cholera is a problem in Calcutta. Cholera is a problem in Orissa. Whenever the flood comes anywhere in the country, cholera is a major problem. But we are controlled by giving an antibiotics. But we have social stigma. We don't want to admit a state, I have a cholera problem. That's a problem. But it's a pandemic. It is getting a pandemic. And so we joined with the Hillman Lab, which is now entered the phase 3 clinical trial now, cholera vaccine. And we also working with the paratyphy. As soon as we control the typhoid, we expect paratyphy will go up. If paratyphy goes, do we have strategy in place before that problem comes in? So we are working with the paratyphy A with the University of Maryland, and now the Gates Foundation funded us again in Oxford for human challenge studies for paratyphy. And remember, many neglected diseases turn out to be global disease. Tuberculosis was Indian disease to be global. HIV was an African monkey disease, it became a global disease. MERS was animal disease, became human. Rabies was animal dog disease, it became a human. So all these things are going to happen, and that's what we are seeing in the COVID also now. And you see that most of the diseases, you look at pandemic, all neglected disease, part of the Africa and Asia. And these are the neglected, turn out to be the pandemic after some time. So who has to work in pandemic? It is India, it's China, and Africa has to work aggressively. US and Europe wants to fund us. It is not that they love India. They want to fund us because the diseases are starting from here. And these are the diseases starting from here and end up in other part of the world. And I think, can we take a leadership in pandemic? We started this concept in 2006 when chikungunya came into problem. When chikungunya came to India in 2006, I said we should work. When we started working, DBT and everybody doesn't want to fund us. They said it's a useless vaccine, chikungunya. Today, I think CEPI has come forward. They're funding $14 million grant, and from the CEPI, International Vaccine Institute, Seoul, Korea is doing the trial, and we are doing in Guatemala, Colombia, Philippines, Puerto Rico, Thailand, and India. And phase 3 started. DBT is also joined, and CEPI also joined in this program, and this trial is happening. By end of this year, this product will be a reality. After phase 3 efficacy trial will be reality. We'll be the first one chikungunya vaccine in the globe. And then we also published that how the mutation is happening in chikungunya. It is not a pure manufacturing company. We also do a lot of strategic thinking on how the mutation is happening, how mutation is changing one mosquito to another mosquito is going in. And what we did is the sequence analysis when we did the chikungunya came to Kerala and Tamil Nadu. When sequence indicated this strain might have come from Madagascar, French island Madagascar. Then we asked a simple question: if it came from French island Madagascar, then what would come next? So look at this Madagascar here. The mosquito from here, it came to India. How it came, I do not know. But the sequence analysis clearly indicated that this strain was chikungunya was in Madagascar. If it came, then we asked a simple question: what can come from chikungunya? If it came from Madagascar, there was only yellow fever, dengue, and chikungunya, and then Zika was there. So that's the time in 2014. Nobody knows about Zika, and we were the first one to work on Zika. And And right now, we filed a patent in June 2015. Exactly in December 2015, Brazil incident came. Actually, the mosquito, instead of landing in Indian side, it landed in the Brazil opposite side, that mosquito. That is how the Brazil got severely affected by the Zika problem. Now the Zika is appearing in Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bombay, and other places also. So we completed phase 1, but nobody wanted to fund us this trial, so we kept it. Then pandemic came, we stopped the trial right now. Phase 1 is completed right now on this product. But this is going to be, again, we are the first global patent holder in the world. That patent is there to show that, like a driving license, I have a license to say when I filed a patent. Because Western world will not believe that we are the first one to file a global patent. Nobody will believe. So that clearly shows our priority of the patent. And that's the time I realized country needs a BSL-3 facility. We started working in 2012 to 2018, 6 years it took for us to create a BSL-3 production facility in Hyderabad. I thought that when you have chikungunya, Zika, all these pandemics are coming, I think countries should be prepared for BSL-3 facility. So we created, BSL-3 labs are there all over even CCMB has got BSL-3 lab. A lot of institutes has got BSL-3 lab, but not the production facility. So production facilities are totally different technology. So it's a negative pressure. Everybody knows what the negative pressure means. It pulls out the air from out of the room so that any virus is there in the room. It also pulls out into air handling unit. It doesn't attack the human being who is working in that area. That's how the negative pressure is. That's how the facility came in right on time. 2018 we completed. We have not validated. By then the COVID came. We partnered with ICMR, NIV, and then I thought, if you want to make inactivated vaccine, it is not the IgG response is very critical. We need the help of T-cell response. That's a very critical. This we licensed from NIH, Virovax company from US. It's an NIH funded project. We look at, but then we want to manufacture in India. Nobody was there in India. I think thanks to IACT, that time Shekhar Mandya was here. When the incident was there, I met him in CCMB guest house and we talked about this one. And he put high pressure on the IACT and we made immunozoquinolone right in Hyderabad IACT at a kilograms quantity of this. Today, this product is going in every vaccine batches that is going into the batch, thanks to Shekhar and Chandrasekhar from IACT to make it happen. So that when we are shifting the balance to more of a Th1 response, that's a very critical. Today, it can give long-term immunity for a person who has taken a COVID vaccine. Whether it protects against a variant, that's a different issue, but it has got a memory inside the cell. And that is, the children vaccines are all memory created. That's why you take a 3 doses vaccine child, lifetime you got protected. And that's because of T-cell responses created in that. Injectable polio vaccine, inactivated vaccine is a good example of that. That's how we created a differentiation factor over Chinese company and other companies, even European companies also. And we created non-human primates, all NIV Pune did thing in hamster also, monkeys. It's an interesting story in NIV, you should tell that story. But we did the phase 1 and 2 in a different part of the world country because we need to capture various countries' population also in that game. And that's how the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister came to our plant, interacted with our scientists. That was the motivation. 27 November 2020, his visit. It's a country's head. If he comes to our plant, it's an inspiration for us as a leader comes in. If Shekhar Mandya comes to our plant, it's inspiration for us. Nothing else. It's just inspiration. That's all. Nothing that thing. And he also addressed to some ambassadors, 80 countries ambassadors came to our plant. And all the ambassadors, we talked about how India can innovate, how India can contribute to the global communities. And Prime Minister was honored, touched with it. And then we did efficacy trial. That's why I told rotavirus experience, typhoid conjugate experience, helped us to do the fast track on COVID vaccine. And we done 26,000 people subject. Because again, when you do Indian company trial, they might have manipulated. There may be data integrity problem. All sort of questions in this country. Because Indians doesn't believe Indians, unfortunately. That's the problem. So Americans believe Indians. But Indians will not believe Indians. That's the sad part of this country. And every scientist know there are too many TV channels. Gets into a different TV channel. They don't have peer-reviewed journal. They don't have publication. They don't have efficacy data. All sort of stories. I think, the sad part is many scientists, we are not coming against certain people who are talking against India. That is not coming in. The spirit is not coming in this country. And I think every scientist has to, if scientists done wrong, please criticize. No problem. But we have to take a vocal road. to attack some of the people's negativity of that. We had 1,000 people involved. EQI is a multinational company, US company. They involved in the clinical trial. We spent almost 250 crores on this trial alone, on phase 3 trial alone. We spent 500 crores, both validation of a facility and manufacturing and the clinical trial, 500 crores. We never took money from the government of India. The reason we didn't take money, I think Shekhar Mande was ready to give money to, honestly. He was ready to give. He gave money to some of the R&D characterization with CCMB, and we put the money also there. But they were ready. But I thought, country is facing a suffering. At that time, I don't want to exploit the government for sake of money. If you exploit, that means you're another crooked businessman, nothing else. I'm not a scientist then. So I thought we should not take, when the country is suffering, we should do it ourselves. We did that ourselves, and this is important. This is the world's largest clinical trial next to US. Next to Pfizer and Moderna, we are the only country who has done largest clinical trial. Even Covishield, which is AstraZeneca vaccine, has done 5,000 people in Brazil, 3,000 people in South Africa. That's all, 8,000 people. But nobody has done 26,000 people. Only Pfizer has done and Moderna has done. Probably we are the third country in the world to complete efficacy trial. After the UK, US, UK, and India. Chinese done afterwards. After us, they've done efficacy trial in Dubai and Brazil places. We are third country in the world. And also we are the the largest clinical trial compared to Chinese or a British group also. So I think that's significant. And we've got more than 18 publications, nothing less than Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca vaccines. And we are now going in different countries, thanks to Ministry of External Affairs. They're helping us to send a lot of countries. And our Honorable Prime Minister I'm telling honestly, many people may criticize, oh, this is a BJP vaccine, Modi vaccine. Please don't look at like that. Look at simple. The head of the country is believing in science of this country. We have not even completed phase 3 efficacy trial. You took the vaccine. Look at that angle. Please look at that angle. Don't forget about your political affiliations. All that we should not care. But he believed in Indian science. You took that vaccine. That's the greatness of him. And when he took it, that means he believes in Indian science. That's what I want every scientist should realize. Leave apart your political party affiliations, all that. Get out of it. I'm not interested in politics. But forget about all scientists should get out of that mind. And a country head believed in Indian science. I think every scientist should really praise him for that decision he took. And I think, and I look at it, you have 2.6 billion people where injection syringes are required. We need to change the game. And I think the New York Times told anybody would like to have nasal vaccine. That's important. Why nasal vaccine? You look at it. The immune responses, you have an injectable, only lower respiratory is protected. Whereas nasal will protect both lower and upper respiratory. Both are protected. That's why injectable vaccine, why we are getting infection again, positivity, is because the upper lung is not protected. So you're getting still infection after injectable also. And it is expected. Only thing, hospitalization will not be there. But you look at, again, injectable, it doesn't stop the transmission because you are not protect upper lung is getting infected, so you still spread transmitting the disease. So whereas in the nasal will prevent the transmission, it stops the transmission. So we have partnered with Washington University and we did in mice, hamsters and monkey, all the 3 challenging studies completed. We gave 100% protection and we made a nasal drops. We want like a polio drop, just bend a person, drop 2 drops here, 2 drops here. With the 4 drops, you're done with the vaccination. And you can have multi-dose that can transmit, and one person to another person should not contaminate. Suppose I'm COVID positive. If suppose I given a drop here, I should not take the vial and give it to somebody else, contamination. So that also we are taking a precaution that the dropper change, the top tip can be changed for every person, can be changed. So we're taking all the precautions that can go through regulatory angle. We completed, it's a complicated immunology. We found a totally new immunology which kept it confidential. Unless you have a priming system, the nasal doesn't work very well. If it is a priming is done, it's the most efficient vaccine. So that is the secret we figured out the immunology. And we are now working with Stanford to figure out some of the immunological aspect of it. We completed phase 1, we completed 2 phase 2 trials. We can now phase 2, 2 phase 2, phase 3 trials just commencing end of this month, 2 phase 3 trials. And we also joined with the malaria with the GSK, and they're shutting down the malaria vaccine from there and shifting to malaria vaccine to India. This is a truly made in India, make in India. You see how Prime Minister program of come back, do something. This is a good example of one vaccine GSK is shutting down the manufacturing, shifting entire manufacturing, and this product is going to be manufactured by my other subsidiary company, Sapigen, in Bhubaneswar. We are looking at expanding to Bhubaneswar, and this is going to be an important. We sold 10 billion doses and we have done more than 100 clinical trials. You see the spectrum of the clinical trial we have done. Please understand, we are not any more Indian company. We are doing clinical trial in a multi-levels countries. We have done more than 100 publications, and look at the clinical trials of the typhoid conjugate vaccine. Nothing less than Lancet, New England Journal of Medicine, Clinical Infectious Disease, and look at some of the publications. Pakistan published recently, Lancet. You look at it, it protects against drug-resistant outbreak in Karachi. I told you, Hyderabad. It's a place called Hyderabad in Karachi. Right, you are all in Chandigarh, close to the border. So I think clearly it shows that drug-resistant also can be protected with the vaccination in Pakistan. And we have done a lot of trials. And look at the clinical trial that we have done for this one, rotavirus trial. You see the number of publications. No, sorry, this is not. This is the Covaxin. It's a Covaxin, so many trials. We've done Nature publications, 3 Lancet publications, and recently we got another publication, Lancet also effectiveness studies, and JAMA published by the All India Institute of Medical Science published. And you look at the clinical trial that we have done for the lot of clinical trial for Rotavac, and we have extensively covering the patent, more than 400 patents, because India will not be respected unless you have a patent. Otherwise, they think, we are copying somebody, Americans or Europeans, they're copying. So thanks to Gates Foundation and Department of Biotechnology, Norway government and Wellcome Trust, more than $300 million given a grant for all our clinical trials in various parts of the world, including Palestinian clinical trial funded by the Gates Foundation, and multilateral partnership. And we are reaching 123 countries, exporting to, we have 123 countries. Next pandemic, this is my last 2-3 slides. Next pandemic, I expect food security is going to be a problem. And you see many, 10,000 viruses are zoonotic. That means animal to human, human to animal. My theory of Omicron, is Delta would have gone to animal in South Africa and come back to humans again. So that's how it got modified so much. And same thing will happen. I'm a major in virology. That's why I'm able to tell what could happen. So it's going to happen this thing. One person from any part of the world can come and bring disease. Look, a good example, foot and mouth disease, $20 billion losses UK government in about 10 years back. The entire cattle industry has to be destroyed on foot and mouth disease. They think it's a bioterrorism. Somebody came from Iraq and might have come with a shirt or went to the FMD farm and he came to UK, landed. That's how they might have got contaminated. That's how the theory goes on. And do you look at when you go to US, they'll ask you any cattle farm you visited, an FMD area. That is the reason because they expect animal side thing. We created in Bangalore. Dr. Ban was instrumental, laid the foundation of this facility in 2006 in Bangalore. This is a BSL-4, almost BSL-4 facility. We call BSL-3 plus AG, but if you have gowning is done, it becomes a BSL-4 production facility. There are only 2 production facilities, BSL-4 level. One is in Fulbright in UK, which is leased to Mariel, and second facility in Bangalore, which are BSL-4 production facility. And even US and China, nobody has got that. Wuhan lab is BSL-4 laboratory, but not the production facility. And I think I'm a serial entrepreneur, as said. We are about 3,800 people working in 5 different cities. We are in Gujarat, Pune. We recently acquired Pune, Merck facility, MSD, Animal Healthcare, old Intervet, one of the oldest vaccine manufacturing, Intervet in Pune. We acquired recently. And Bangalore, we have BioVet, and we have Innova Food Park. I'm in the food business also, which I don't want to touch upon. And Orissa is the one we are expanding big way. See that biotechnology goes to eastern part of India. It doesn't stick to south and west alone. It also goes to eastern part of India. And thanks to the government of India, they recognize us. They have launched our stamp, and this stamp is only to respect the science of this country. And that is what. And Indian science will change rapidly. Because industries earlier, R&D, academic research was very high level. The industry level is very low level. But now, industrial level also gone up equal to that, or even industrial R&D is going even higher than academic research. And that is good for the country. It's good for the country. And Indian scientists will be respected, for sure. New entrepreneurs will emerge. India will innovate for the globe. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Khosla. And I want to thank our DG being there with us. Thank you. Honored.
Thank you, Dr. Ella. Lovely presentation. And Anshu, you can take it forward. Yeah.
Yes, so I'll be very, very quick this time. So yeah, like you, Dr. Ella, I don't think our DG also needs any introduction. So with that, but on behalf of entire CSIR team, we would like to really thank you for literally showing us how to, in your own words, leading the fight against diseases. So thanks a lot for that. And with that very brief thank you and a very, very brief introduction, I'd really like to welcome Dr. Shekhar Mande for his words of encouragement and guidance for all of us.
Thank you, Anshu. So it's such a privilege to have somebody like Krishna Ella speaking at IMTECH Foundation Day. And I'm sure everyone will agree with me that you can see the passion oozing out of him for working on infectious diseases and for our own people. And Krishna, you are such a good role model for all the youngsters around.
Oh, that's what I want.
We do hope that many youngsters who have joined us here will take a cue from you and get into the same passion that you have exhibited in your life and take up to the cause of our own people. It's a pleasure for me to be here at the IMTECH Foundation Day. I started my own career in IMTECH in 1995 December before Hyderabad. And therefore, I had the privilege of both being at IMTECH and also the head of the company of Krishna in Hyderabad. I've seen Krishna Ella from the very beginning of his own company. He used to come to CDMD very often. And the passion was there even then. I mean, we could see in his eyes, in his body language and all, the passion with which he was working, but just simply amazing. The IMTECH, of course, has at foundations, as Sanjeev mentioned, Dr. V.C. Vora started once again with the same passion as what we have seen today. The beginning of IMTECH set the same fashion and was very ably taken forward by the likes of Sandeep Basu and C.M. Gupta and others. And IMTECH has a very important role to play in the country, as what we see today is certain fields are undergoing literally revolution. One of them, of course, is vaccines, was Krishna mentioned. And other would be similarly, we hope that making drugs in the country would go similarly a kind of revolution. But worldwide, there's a phenomenon of microbiome that is taking place. And in fact, this last 1 week, there is a paper in Cell where they had done microbiome of certain people in 2030, repeated on the same people later, and they find that the microbiome has changed very little in the same subjects. And the paper is in Cell. Just now, Dr. Shiv Sarin brought it to my attention. Incidentally, I was just with Shiv Sarin 10 minutes before this thing started. And the second paper he brought to my notice was about obesity and microbiome connection. And he said that a fecal microbial transplant, what have been done recently in human subjects, actually go on to show that obesity can be controlled by FMTs. And that's something really, really remarkable. And the third thing I would like to bring to your attention is 2 days ago, New England Journal of Medicine has carried a paper on the oral microbiome and how Clostridium infection in the oral microbiome can be controlled by microbiome therapy. So this particular world is very, very changing rapidly. And what I would like to urge, IMTECH being a leader in areas such as this, microbial technology, IMTECH should really take itself a big plunge into this area. And let us try to make microbiome therapies actually a reality in India. I don't see that day is too far that when people will actually start taking microbiome therapies, whether it be in capsules or whether it be in fecal transplants or any other kinds of transplants, that day is not too far away. And we have leaders like Krishna Ella here who would also be, I believe, would be supportive of similar initiatives. And we must take a plunge and show to the world again that we can indeed do remarkable things, even being in this particular part of the geographical mode. Hearty felicitations to all of you, all the IMTECH family from CSIR headquarters on your Foundation Day, and wish you many, many more years of Foundation Day celebrations, and wish you many, many more times people like Krishna Ella grace your occasion. Thank you all very much.
Just 1 second. Microbiome we develop and do the good clinical trial in other part of the world, we'll make it as a global product. The key is also clinical trial there also.
We'll do it. So people like Dr. Sarin are with us and they are very keen on taking the trial forward and he wants to work with us. So we have been talking and we will indeed take it forward from now on.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you.
yeah. And I'm hoping that soon you can come here physically and we can actually discuss more on this.
Come.
That's
Definitely.
what we had planned. So
I'll just come. You know, the government of India is not working very easily nowadays. Government of India is very tough. I don't know how Shekhar is working in Delhi. Delhi is not easy thing. And they call at 11 p.m. Tell me what is the supply position? What is the approval? Where is batch has gone? I'm telling honestly, today the government is working totally different. I am seeing a transformed government. Honest. I mean, the pandemic has taught us how the government has changed. Government has really got totally a different level of thinking and different level of monitoring. Okay, and I think it's a phenomenon. I'm going to look at the COVID control. 1.1 million people are infected in the US. We are only 300,000. But for that also they criticize in India. You know, we are a negative-minded people. I think somewhere in our culturally, we have been brought up with negative thinking right from the beginning. Okay? We have only 300,000. 1.1 million people are infected in the US. All mRNA vaccine has been given everybody. Third dose also completed. Israel has given a fourth dose. Now 37,000 people infected yesterday in Israel. Fourth dose. Booster. But still, you know, we keep criticizing. I don't know. When we criticize, our children also becomes negative. I want everybody to remember when we are criticizing, remember our children are watching. Our children also should not become negative. But I'm keen about the microbiome because we have extremely good knowledge on the clinical trial aspect of it. I think we are the only company next to any multinationals in the world has got experience in clinical trial. No Indian company has got a clinical trial expertise that what we have. No Chinese company also. I think we are the only company more than 110 clinical trials done in various parts of the world. And we have those centers. And we have 65 centers in the country, clinical trial centers with us all the time. I have not talked about JE vaccine and other vaccines, so many other vaccines, which we have, because pentavalent, so many other vaccines we have done. We don't have time, so I want to finish in 35 minutes. That is the reason. But certainly, we have extremely good knowledge on the clinical trial, and we can rope up a lot of experts in the world. We can lock up a lot of them. And we do the best science, not just for the sake of patent alone. We deliver to the society at large. And it's a competition is with US, and it's the US and Europe. That's how we have to look at not Indian companies, not Indian academic institutes and all that. We should look at a globe. How do we beat MIT in microbiome? They're good in MIT. They're fecal and all that. They are leaders in MIT, in fecal samples. They sent a proposal to me. They want me to make it. There is an NGO started by MIT. That NGO, they want me to manufacture fecal samples here in India. I think I'll bring them into discussion maybe with you all later. But their approach at the pandemic time, I didn't want to pursue that. But there's already from MIT want to help India also. And a bigger science is going on in that science. I think Dr. Shekhar was absolutely right. I think this is a place where we can take a leadership, but that needs a mission mode. Not just, okay, a scientist should not think, can I get some money? Money is the last priority. Okay, how do we make it a leadership role in this field? What is required? Is it manpower? Should we bypass the existing bureaucracy also? Hire the people. We have done in IICT, Shekhar knows, we hire the people directly, quickly, to make immunogenicity. We said we pay salary. Move fast. That lightning speed can be done. Otherwise, if Dr. Khosla wants to recruit somebody, there are 4 advertisements and another petitions will start against you. So many will write to DG that he has favored somebody, all sort of things. This country is only made up of negative people. So I think, I mean, they're all my scientists, also my brothers. So I think whatever I talk in the interest of country, I think not just because you or me, that we need to see that our children stay back in this country. That is what I work with. It is not the young scientists. Even our children should not leave this country. They should stay back with us. Should say, yes, India is the right place for me to stay back. Okay, that's all, nothing else. Thank you very much for giving a great opportunity, and I enjoyed talking to all of you. Enjoyed and really grateful to the DG who could be there until now. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on to the last section. So, Dr. Mande, we would like you to announce the Dr. V.C. Vora Best PhD Research Awards. So, we request our IT team to put up the slides. And in the meantime, I can briefly tell you, we give away 2 awards each year. One is the Research Award, which is based on publications, technology transfer and patents. And the Research Presentation Award is because science sometimes takes time to materialize into something which is more tangible. So we let the students talk about what they have done, and then that is evaluated again by a set of committees. So Dr. Mande, it's all yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So greatly delighted to announce the student awards. The Dr. V.C. Vora Best PhD Research Award goes to Dr. Tambat Rushikesh Rajeshbhai, who submitted a thesis which is titled Studies on Efflux Pump Inhibitors from Microbial Resources. So congratulations to Dr. Rajesh Bhai for this particular one. And the Dr. V.C. Vora Best PhD Research Presentation Award 2020 goes to Dr. Paushali Chakraborty, whose title is Exploring the Nature of Extracellular Polymeric Substances in Mycobacterial Biofilms and Role of Microbiome in Tuberculosis Pathogenesis. So congratulations to Dr. Chakraborty. The V.C. Vora Best PhD Research Presentation Award 2021 goes to Mr. Mohammad Naushad Akhtar, and the title is Role of TIM3 Leishmania donovani mediated immunoregulation of dendritic cells, and to Ms. Saloni Kakkar for the title An Aptama based biosensing platform for point of care diagnosis of cardiac biomarkers. Congratulations to both Mr. Akhtar and Ms. Kakkar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mande, for announcing the PhD awards. I'm pretty sure the students will be very excited. So coming to the end of today's event, I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. Ella, and Dr. Mande, our guest of honor, to share their vision and showing us the true meaning of leading by action. I would also like to thank the organizing committee of Foundation Day at CSIR-IMTECH, in specific Dr. Chandrasekhar Sharma and Dr. Manoj Tripathi, and all my colleagues and friends at CSIR. On behalf of CSIR-IMTECH and Director CSIR-IMTECH, I would like to also thank everyone who has joined us on social media platforms. And with the promise to contribute more towards global good, we bid a goodbye and look forward to meeting all of you again next year. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you, Dr. Ella. Yeah.